everyone, this is Luigi Fan here, and I'm going to make another Beta Elements video, and this time it's not Melee, but it is Super Smash Bros. Related. I'm going to do the first Super Smash Bros. Well, unfortunately, the game wasn't even supposed to be Super Smash Bros. In fact, it was called Dragon King: The Fighting Game. I would never buy that. I swear I would never buy that. But Sakurai thought that characters looked boring and all that. So they wanted to level it up. And then that's when Nintendo characters replaced those fighters that were originally going to be in Dragon King: The Fighting Game. So that's how Super Smash Bros. Began, and Sakurai and the other Nintendo developers' ideas worked. And it worked perfectly in the game. But there are also some unused characters that weren't in the game. Those characters, I'll find it. I think I'll do it by myself, but I'll try to get as mostly as I can. Bowser, Peach, King Dedede, Mewtwo, Mew, Toad, Banjo and Kazooie, and James Bond from GoldenEye. Those characters were originally going to be in Smash 64, but Banjo and Kazooie could not make it because, and James Bond, because they're rare characters, and Nintendo knew that Microsoft would take Rare from Nintendo later in the future, which happened in 2005, and he took Banjo and Kazooie away from Nintendo and James Bond. So they've been scrapped, and the other characters that haven't made it in too. So it was just those 12 characters that made it in. And just think though, the game was originally going to be just a Japan released game, but since it was a big success in Japan, they thought that maybe Americans might like this, and other states too, well, other countries too. So they sold it everywhere. Basically all the Beta Elements. There's not too much Beta Elements in Smash 64, because, you know, it is, well, yeah, I could go on the internet and find out, because I don't know. I think that's all, really. I think that's all. I think I actually missed a character, but I might have gotten him. Oh, also Pit and Wario were originally going to be in the original too. That's who I was thinking of. Alright. Okay. Beta Elements. SSB. Okay. Okay, Beta Gameplay Elements. A talk between Masahiro Sakurai and Satoru Iwata states that Sakurai had intended to add final smashes in the original game. And then you could hear Ness going like, PK Thunder! And then Captain Falcon saying like, come on, you ain't welcome. I think that's what he says. I don't know. Because the other part, he says like, come on. Oh wait, PK Starstorm. I thought he says PK Thunder. While he did record some dialogue for them, and limitations of the Nintendo 64 prevented their inclusion. Final Smashes later became a really 9 years later with the release of Brawl. Relatively 9 years later with the release of Brawl. While the sound effects of these Final Smashes are not accessible through normal play, they can be found through the use of the debug menu. These sounds include Ness yelling, PK Starstorm! And PK Pikachu charging energy, and Captain Falcon yelling, "Come on!" Other characters heard include Kirby and Link. In addition to the unused Final Smash clips, there are 2 unused announcer voice clips. Are you ready? And final stage. Wow, I would love Smash 64 to have that. I love Final Smashes. They're awesome. Beta stages. In the final game, 2 early stages are only playable with a Game Shark. Their intended use is unknown, but because they share texture and a background with Dreamland, it has been assumed that the two were meant to be other Kirby stages, or were Saffron City. Or were testing stages before Dreamland's design was finalized. Saffron City and Dreamland also had minor differences. With the final product, the roofs of buildings in Saffron City had a considerably brighter pink texture on the insides of them, while Dreamland had considerably dark shades of green, as well as much taller grass in the foreground and background. I don't think that's a beta element. I think that's just when it was getting made. In the character selection, the question mark boxes, while the unlockable characters Captain Falcon, Ness, Luigi, and Jigglypuff had their character portraits, were initially supposed to be colored instead of the ordinary gray silhouettes with fiery backgrounds that appear in the final game. These colored boxes matches the player numbered colors of red, blue, yellow, and green. Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually, because that would have made it more fun, but at the same time, it could have been, spoiling because of that. But yeah, those are the beta elements. That was the only beta elements in Super Smash Brothers. Not a lot of beta elements, just a couple. So, anyway, I'll see you guys then. Peace.